It's called Toon Boom, and we've been working in it for I think 5 years now, right, Kami? Something like that. So we were mainly using Flash before, and in 2012 we moved on to Toon Boom, and I think that was a very wise decision, very good decision because Toon Boom is just a lot friendlier, a lot better looking, and you can sort of, I mean, you can have your experience be as close to Flash as possible if that's what you were used to. And a lot of animators are used to Flash. A lot of 2D animators are used to Flash because that was pretty much all you had back like a few years ago. So, hey, Toon Haze. So first thing you want to do, I guess, if you're used to Flash, when you fire up Toon Boom, is you go to your, let me see if I remember how to do this because it's been a while. So you go to your preferences, and yeah, so you go to your preferences, and I don't know if you can see, but literally the first thing that you see here is a drop down um, where you can choose what software. I mean, yeah, what let me see, not control scheme, but rather like shortcut scheme your software uses. So you can see that mine is still set to Adobe Flash, even though it's been 5 years since I started working on Toon Boom. In Toon Boom, uh, I just stuck to the Flash kind of scheme because it was just what I knew. So you can choose between Flash, Harmony, and Toon Boom, but it's kind of weird. It's like the zoom is set to the number keys and stuff like that, so I just prefer doing the Flash thing. There we go. So pretty much this is what you were. What? Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Just let me just edit this really quick. Now working on. Do I have it now working on for um? I don't have one. I don't have an animation one. Anyways, yeah, I'll just do cleanup, even though it's not cleanup, but hey. So, so this pretty much, ignore these two layers here. Oh, you can't see that because of the, weird. Can't see that because of my webcam. Let me just do this. So, I'll just do, I'll just do this so you can see what I'm talking about. So, this is where you add layers from. It's pretty much exactly like in Flash. Um, so, what you want to do is add a drawing layer, right? Call it whatever you want. And then you want to draw in it, right? So um, what I use is the pencil tool. So the way we work is basically most of the times I do the rough animation and then I pass it on to Kami, who's over there, and she does, and she, huh? And she's stealing oranges as usual. And so she does cleanup. I mean, a lot of the times she makes the animation from the beginning. That's one of her advantages. She can do everything from rough to cleanup. I don't really do cleanup, never really did it, and it's very for me it's a very tedious kind of work. So I'm not really crazy about it. So I'm very happy that I have Kami, who's she's very she has a lot of patience, for that kind of stuff. And she's very hungry too. Oh wait, I should move this. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna move this here. Or wait, where do I? Yeah, I should move it here. I'm just moving my stuff around so that you can see uh my display better. Yes, we are very lucky to have it coming. Oh, thank you. So just rearranging my thing here. There we go. It's a lot better. Yeah. So just chose my pencil tool there, and a very important thing that you need to do is you got this little button here that's like I don't know if you can see it, it's like an A with no this one. which one is it? Yeah, this one. It's like an A with a little arrow next to it. So what you want to do is you want to press that button, because otherwise Toon Boom is just going to keep all these, it's just going to keep everything that you draw as a different editable line. If you don't push this button here, then your computer is going to start chugging, and it's going to work. It's going to be harder and harder for you to work, and you're going to have no idea why it does that. So that's a tip. You want these two buttons to be pressed. And that's about it for just you know, the preparation of your tool. And of course, the way you do frame by frame animation is just work on keyframes and then in between them. So what I really like about Toon Boom compared to Flash is that you have this you have the pencil tool that's really nice. Yeah.
I want to ask you just
Yeah.
something. Yeah,
I know. Okay, I'll be back in like 5 seconds. Nico needs my input.
Do you think it is better now or worse?
There's still that problem needs to be fixed. She's better, but she needs
I want if you're going to use this, she only has animations to go up and down only for one direction, left.
We're gonna have to make us
All
some.
the diagonal.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna do that.
Moving and
It's, yeah, we should have done that from the beginning. Lots of custom animations. Yeah. Hey, no problem. I'm happy to do this because I was doing something in Toon Boom either way, so you know, might as well stream it. But first I'll just show you the basics. So that's the huge difference between Toon Boom and at least Flash. You know, I haven't worked in TV Paint. I hear it's really nice, and I hear that TV Paint's pencil tool is really cool. I didn't really have the time to experiment with that, but as you can see, this is, given the fact that this is vector, it looks really cool, right? So it looks, I mean, it looks comfortably close to working with an actual pen. And what's super nice about this is that another thing that I'm not sure, I don't actually remember if you could do this in Flash, but you can actually just grab parts of your drawing, like for example, say I want to separate like the features of the face from his head outline, and I'll just do this, hold my shift key down here and select only the outline, and there I have it. I only selected the outline, I can move it around. This is super useful. Let me see that. Yeah, let's see. I don't know. I'm very curious to try out. I'm very curious to try out TV Paint. It's just that I don't. Oh man, it looks fucking awesome. Looks real good. Well, okay, I'm bookmarking this to watch it later. What are you stealing again, little thief? I just bookmarked that. So yeah, that's one very cool feature Toon Boom has. So another thing that I really like about it when compared to Flash is that, okay, this is my first keyframe, right? And I want to draw my second keyframe here. So the cool part about Toon Boom is that it separates your onion skill. I mean, it differently color codes your onion skin frames. So everything that comes before the current frame is red, and everything that comes after the current frame is green. So you know, sometimes in Flash you'd have your onion skin show your previous and your next frames, and it would just, you could not tell which was which. So this is very helpful. You know, it's such a small thing, but it's super helpful. So let's say I move this guy's face to the side. You know, I'm not really bothering to make this animation make sense. I'm just you know, just trying to explain the basics and stuff. So let's say I move this guy's face to the side, and now we got our two keyframes displayed like that. Looks like crap, doesn't matter. And this the little blue things here are the onion skin. They pretty much work just like in Flash. So if I just delete the frames in between these, let's just do this. Let's just say again. So this is super. This is what I like about Toon Boom. You know, the green is the next frame, red is the previous frame, and it's super useful. It's a lot easier to use than in Flash. So again, one of those, you know, one of those small things, very small changes, but I think it's like a very cool feature. And I doubt that you could do this in Flash. I don't think you could do this in Flash. I don't remember. Anyways, I'm not one of those people that does tutorials and stuff. I just sort of bang things together and see what works. So there is the possibility that you could actually do that in Flash, and I didn't discover it. Anyway, I don't know. I just really like this about Toon Boom. So just drawing my in between here. And see what we got so far. Got a really crappy looking around animation. Yeah, you do use. No, actually, for new frames, no. You don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to add. I mean, you don't have to press anything on the keyboard in order to add new frames. You can see that this is a frame. This is another frame. And the second I start drawing here, it's going to automatically add a frame. Other than that, the lengthening of frames and stuff like that is exactly like in Flash. So say I want to lengthen this frame, I'm just going to click here and press F5, just like in Flash, and then it makes it static. Let me see. Yeah. Oh, nice. Oh, thanks for that. Actually, I am using a slightly older version of Harmony than Kami does. Mine is 12, I think. Hers is 14. I was just too lazy to download the latest. Not lazy. I was just too busy to download the latest Toon Boom. So again, yeah, just like in Flash, you can flip between the frames. I mean, you can go forward and back between frames using the keyboard with the comma and dot keys. And sorry, that's pretty much it for. I think. Let me think. Is there anything important about frame by frame stuff? Because then I'm gonna show you the node view and what's cool about it. I don't know. I think that's pretty much it for the node view. You can also use I mean, for the frame by frame thing, you can also use the, the brush tool. So I don't know. It's very, to me, it just seems it's. I don't know what I did there. To me, it just seems very similar to Flash in a lot of respects, you know. Oh yeah, another cool thing that you can do here with the pencil or with the brush is you can actually you have lots of presets and stuff. I usually use pencil 1 or pencil 4. Um, you can adjust your maximum size, you know, so that when you press a little harder, it just really goes to really you know, to really thick lines. Not very useful when you do rough, but hey, you can. I mean, it's there. You can actually do it. Um, Another cool thing about it is you can. I mean, there's like deform and lots of other things. I don't really use them, you know, for frame by frame. Uh, Not super important. What else? What else? You can import palettes, sorry. don't really use them. I'm pretty much a rough animation guy. That's pretty much everything I do. Yeah, usually I work with a maximum size of 10 and a smoothing factor of 12. You know, just like in Flash, I really hated in Flash when you amp up the smoothing, pump up the smoothing, it would just look very bad. Like it would just reinterpret your line in a very brutal manner. It's not the case with Toon Boom. Toon Boom is super nice about it. I just love the feeling of the pencil in Toon Boom. I mean, it's a lot closer to what you can achieve in Photoshop than Flash and stuff like that. You know, let's let's bump up the smoothing really a lot. Let me see maximum size. See, it kind of reinter. I mean, you can get some pretty cool effects using this. It's not bad. Uh, Backdrops. I don't even know about that. I mean, I'm pretty much at a very basic level in Toon Boom. I just mainly use it for frame by frame and stuff. So we also don't do. I mean, we're working on a game. You know, we don't really do compositing on any kind of other stuff like that. I mean, you can actually do it in Toon Boom. You can actually do a lot of stuff in Toon Boom, but pretty much what we're doing is exporting sprite sequences to in order to put them in the game. So you know, we don't really bother with a lot of other stuff. Now, let me show you the node view, which is, I think, a lot. I mean, it can be it can look very intimidating um, the first time you see it, but I think it's a lot smarter than the way Flash does. Basically, basically it's tweening. So let's say that I draw this character here. I'll just draw his, oh wait, let me just take these back down. Maximum size of 10, 12, all right. So, let me draw a head here. Oh, so wait a minute, Toonhay. So you know Toon Boom. That's cool. I thought you said that you only use Flash. All right, so let's say this is my head, right? Alrighty, and let's draw like a body. A very psychotic looking guy. Put it underneath the head. Oh wait, put it underneath the head. Just ignore these 3 layers underneath. I mean, actually, there's a group there and a couple of other layers. And I'll draw my arm left, well, arm left and arm right. Yeah, I understand. I mean, especially if you're used to a software, it's really hard to switch. But you know, using Flash to me is like being in an abusive relationship. It's hard to quit, but you really should do it. At least that's my opinion. I mean, lots of people just used Flash because really there wasn't any kind of alternative. So when you looked into animation software, that's all you could use, and that's what you rolled with. But right now, especially since you can get the software, you can get Toon Boom for relatively cheap, like $200 a year. I think it's especially if you can use. I mean, if you can make money out of it, it's not that bad. As a hobby, yeah, it's a little bit expensive, but you know, $200 over, I mean, spread it out over a month. That's basically actually the $200 per year's $200 per year is, I think, really the really basic version of Toon Boom. I think it's something a little bit more expensive for the one including the node view. Yeah, exactly. To be honest, I haven't really looked into lots of lighting and layered cameras and stuff like that. It can also import 3D models. I know that we tried that back in 2012 when we were working on this, well, on this animated feature that never actually happened. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can do with Toon Boom. You know, if you really have the time to. We never really that's the thing. We never really had the time to experiment with it and just see all the cool stuff that it can do. But you know, the things we use it for, we're super happy with it. So, all right. So we got our head, our arms, and our body. So pretty much what we want to do now is just make this into a puppet. So let's go to node view here, and it looks, again, now it looks very chaotic. I'll just explain it in a second. Let me just select everything here, turn my music down a little bit. So it does look very chaotic here. What you need to do is go to Windows, Toolbars, Node View, and you have this nice little, oh wait, you have this button here called Auto Arrange or something, and you just auto arrange it, and there you go. So it just builds you this little nice little tree here. Right. Ignore everything here. These are hidden layers. You know, this is what I was working on before. Everything here is what I was working on before. Everything that's red is just hidden, right? So what we wanna mess around with is here. There's the head, there's the arms, and there's the body, and it pretty much uses like a tree structure that's kind of easy to understand once you get the hang of it. It's not that complicated. It does look complicated initially, but it's really not. So here's our tree structure, and in order to move these things without having to frame by frame them, you need to add pegs to them. So the way you do that is you choose one layer and hit Control-P, Control P without the dot, Control P, right? And what? Display all mode. Oh my god, don't do this to me, Toon Boom. All right, there we go. So I hit Control P and I added a peg. So basically a peg is a controller, right? As you can see, it added a little extra layer above my layer, and that's the peg layer, right? The difference between Toon Boom and Flash is that you don't animate tweens on the layer itself, but you do it on the peg layer. So your basic layer, your basic drawing stays the same. You don't mess with that. You just do everything. You add all your tweening keyframes on the peg layer. So as you can see, it says head, and the peg layer is called Head B, which was incidentally a 90s band that I sort of used to listen to in a while, but that is of no consequence whatsoever. So let's do the same with the arms here. I'm going to check, I'm going to Control P it, and there it made the peg for it. If you want two layers to have a single peg, if you want them to move together, you can just select both of them with Control, and if you hit Control P, then it builds a peg for both of them, but we don't really want to do that because we want to be able to move them independently. So I'll just do this, I'll just do the same for everything, and Control P and Control P. So now, basically, I have pegs for everything. So if I go to the body, so I am on the body layer now, and I'm going to the peg layer, right? And now I want to be able to control this drawing. And the way that I do that is I have this animation, special animation toolbar here. So the first thing you want to do, and the most important thing, and one of the things that is very frustrating in Unity because you cannot do that in Unity, just a fair warning there, if you go into game development, you cannot change pivots in Unity. At least that's what our programmer tells me, and I kind of trust him. So you go to this like a round arrow, like circle arrow with a dot button here, the rotate one. And once you choose it, it shows you that you can rotate this thing. But the most important thing is that you can change the pivot, right? Just like you could in Flash. So this is basically just like Flash, right? So let's change the pivot to where we want it to move from.
So, Liviu, I want to tell you, you can change the pivot
Yeah.
in Unity from code, but you can't change the pivot to Unity because the textures are already packed with texture packer and they already have
Yeah, I understand complicated
coordinates
stuff.
for
I mean, it doesn't work for us. Let's
for
say
the
that
pivot.
the way our game is built.
Yeah, but people then they think I'm a noob and I don't do anything. So
No.
that's why we can't change the pivot because our sprites are already specially packed and they
Yeah, we
already
use
have a preset pivot position and you can't use the sprite editor in Unity
exactly.
and the
Yeah.
other editors because they are specially packed. So that's why you can't change the pivot.
Can you rotate things with hotkeys? Actually, to be honest, I don't know. It's just always been a lot easier for me to do this, right? So I'm not sure. I mean, probably. Again, I'm not the kind of guy that just looks up everything about a software. I just sort of discover things along the way. So I might not. I mean, I'm sure I don't know. I don't know everything that you can do with Toon Boom, but what I know is just super helpful, right? So, all right. So we got the pivot for the body there. Let's do the pivot for the arms too. All right, let's move here. Move the pivot there. We can move the arm now. Let's go to the other one. Move the pivot and the head, and now everything, all the pivots are in place, right? Okay. Now for the puppet to make sense, now we have to make a hierarchy. So the thing that we're gonna do is we want to have one peg that controls the entire body, I mean the body and the arms. So the way we're going to do that is to select the pegs for both arms with control and the body, hit control P, and now we have a new peg that controls all three of them. And we're going to call it lower body peg or something, right? And now we're going back into camera view, and going on the lower body peg layer, you can see that it has its own pivot right here. So we're going to move the pivot again down here. And as you can see, now we can both control these things individually, right? The body individually, the arms individually. And we can also control the entire lower body individually. I mean, together, right? And we also have the head peg here. So now the next and last thing we want to do in the hierarchy is make a peg for the, hey Ennis man, yeah, Toon Boom rocks. Just love it. I was just showing it to the guys. So lower body and head. So what we want to do here is just make a peg for everything. We want to move everything at the same time. We just, again, select the head peg, select the lower body peg, and with the control and hit control P, and there we got our peg, and we're gonna call it total peg. It's the total peg, right? So now again, going back to camera view, you got your body peg. Not really gonna use this one because it just doesn't make sense to move that body like that. Individually, you got your arm pegs, you got your lower body peg, which is actually an upper body peg, but come on, let's not go into semantics. We got your head peg, and you got your everything peg. And again, even with the everything peg, like the total peg, we need to move the pivot around a little bit. So there you go. Now you move all of it. So I really like this way of approaching the hierarchy rather than the way it was done in Flash with the movie clips and everything, because that was just like Inception levels, kind of just complications. So the diagram, the node view actually is just like a very nice diagram kind of view where you can easily tell, even if you're a very artistically minded and you're not a very organized person at all, it just makes sense, right? It makes sense to me. So, and what's nice about this is that we can now control both. I mean, we can now control the puppet on so many layers, right? So, for example, I will move. Let's just move. All right, let me just explain everything, right? So, just like in Flash, F6, hitting F6 will add like a keyframe, right? So let's hit F6 here for the arm left, hit F6 here, and then just move rotate the arm and move it around, right? I know it looks like crap, but we're just, oh, wait a minute, yeah. Okay, so super important, hit the animate button first if you want anything to happen. So undo, undo, hit the animate button here, it's the little yellow guy, and then move stuff around and rotate it, right? There we go. We got our little arm movement there. Let's do another arm movement with the on the other arm spec to rotate. There we go. So he's doing a little arm raising thing. Now at the same time, we can just move the lower body, right? So independently move the body from the head, which we're gonna do like this. And we're gonna move the head independently from the body like this, right? So there he is, and we're gonna just um, go back to the initial movement, right? We will copy this keyframe here and paste it here, and then it automatically, like I just copied the first keyframe and paste it afterwards, and it's gonna automatically do the tweening, right? Now let's do the same for everything. Again, dudes, like I don't claim to be the end all be all of Toon Boom. I'm just showing you what I know of it so far, right? So there he is, he does his little thing there, right? And also on an even higher level, let's just select everything on the total peg and make him bounce up and down. So the way we're gonna do that is just, I'll just do it like this, just add little random frames there. And on this frame here, I'm gonna make him go up, whoa, and stretch him vertically. Oh, wait a minute, I did a boo-boo here. Woo, sorry. And just copy this layer, this keyframe here, paste it here, and there we go. Let me just make it play back continuously. So there you go. So pretty easy to achieve, right? I mean, compared to Flash, I don't know, doing this in Flash would have been a little bit of a hassle. So that's what I really love about Toon Boom. Let me just read the comments here. Yes, I know the whole symbols and movie clips thing was just maddening. Uh, and it had Flash, unfortunately. I mean, you can tell it's a very old software, and the problem with it is that it's not actually a 2D animation software. It tried to be a lot of things, you know. So they didn't focus that much. I mean, it is understandable. Toon Boom is just made for 2D animation, and you can tell, you know, from line quality to the way the pegs work to all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Senseless Squirrel, I completely agree with you about Photoshop, and I also admire the fact that you were able to animate in Photoshop. I don't know, I guess I'm just spoiled, you know, because for 5 years I've been using Toon Boom, which is super good. So I don't really see myself going to Photoshop and animating right now. I really don't. It's just Dragon Frame. I'm not familiar with that one. I'm really not familiar with that one. I really only do 2D, pretty much frame by frame animation with a little bit of tweening to save time. I used to do some. I know I was a sort of a 3D generalist at some point just because I was really into 3D, but it just requires so much work and so much time keeping up with 2D and 3D at the same time, and I'm really a lot more passionate about 2D. So you know, I'm kind of familiar with 3D animation too, but stop motion didn't really do that. I would love to have time to do that. Oh yeah, so I can also show you how you can mix uh, frame by frame animation with a little bit of tweening, and we do that not a lot, but we do it because you know, we're developing a classically inspired point and click adventure, and while we want everything to have that traditionally animated feel to it, there are some things that where it really doesn't make any kind of sense to just keep it traditional, you know. So Toon Boom is really great at combining the two, you know, and you can combine them in such a way that you can't even tell that it's I mean, even you know, an experienced animator will sometimes look at stuff that's made in Toon Boom and not be able to tell where frame by frame ends and where tweening begins. So that's really nice about it. Yeah. I don't know. It depends. I mean, it might not be the same thing with the frames, but in Toon Boom, it's kind of easy to do it. You just uh, you just copy frames and then paste them. Like, let's say let's make a new layer. So we got our bouncing ball, right? And I will just copy the layers. Actually, only copy those in between, like Control C. And what is cool about it that you can, if you Control V, it just pastes the frames, and you can just right click and hit paste reverse, and it's gonna automatically reverse the frames, and there you go. Really simple to use. So I don't know, man, it just feels like such a much friendlier piece of software than Flash. Let me just keep up with the yeah, Toon Boom can interpolate, and I think it's a lot nicer implemented than Flash did it. And again, you can if you're used. I mean, I know what it's like. You have all these shortcuts in your head, and it just kind of comes naturally to do some things, and it's very hard to adapt to a new environment. You can just totally just go to preferences, um, edit preferences, and as you can see, mine is already set to Adobe Flash. So pretty much I'm not sure if all of them, but like the majority of the shortcuts will be what you used to have in Flash, you know. And because you know when they made this software, they were aware that people were going to move from to Toon Boom. So yeah, that was a pretty smart thing on their part to just consider the fact that people used Flash a lot, right? Um, yeah. So let me show you. How could I show you how to nicely uh, combine frame by frame and tweening. Okay, let me show it to you this way. Just do like a quick 20 frame animation. Again, I hit everything in underneath. I'll do like a quick 20 frame animation of a guy talking and rotating his head. This is one of my favorite tricks so far. Yeah, I'm curious about anime too. I don't think I'll have the time to look into it. Like we are working. This is one of the very few times when I'm in Toon Boom and I'm not actually working on the game because I was just messing around with some stuff in Toon Boom, so I thought I might as well stream it out to you guys. But given the fact that we're so busy, I don't think I'll have time to look into that one. So, my name's Liviu. Liviu. A lot of friends call me Lee, so you can call me Lee if that's easier for you. Just Li. Can't you do a tweening animation in Toon Boom using pegs and convert tweens to actual frames to make it feel more handmade? Yeah, I think you can actually do that. Yes, I'm pretty sure you can do that. Kami actually knows a lot more about Toon Boom than I do, so she might do like a more in-depth tutorial later, like at a different point in time if sometimes when she doesn't feel like working on the game. But I'm pretty convinced that you can do that. You can yeah you can make a tween and just cut it up into frames so that it feels a little bit more yeah. All right. So let me show you a nice, neat little trick that you can do in Toon Boom. I've been using this a lot. I just discovered it. I mean, it's just something that's not complicated to do, and it's very effective in my opinion. So we got our head outline here, very rough head outline. Just call it head, right? Oh crap, I only have another head. Okay, head 2, and another nice thing about Toon Boom, especially from the 12, I think it's from 12 on, is that you can just keep adding layers, you know. You don't have to add them one by one. Check this out. I'm hitting Control R, hitting Control R, and I'll add a layer called mouth, right? Enter, and I can just keep adding layers, right? I'll add one called nose, eyes, and I guess that's gonna do it. Close, right? All right, so let's draw our nose here and lengthen it using F5, and let's do the eyes too. And he's very scared for some reason. Oh, what am I doing here? Actually, let's put the eyes underneath the nose, even though it doesn't really make that much of a difference because it's only a sketch. And actually, let's also add a layer for ears, or at least ear. Add, and we got our little ear here. So what I want to do here is have the guy talk and blink and make it feel like he's rotating his head at the same time. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna draw his mouth here and do like a little bit of a random talk loop. The way we do it for the game is unfortunately we don't have the time or the budget to do proper lip syncing. So the way we do it is we just add phonemes or whatever you call those of two frames length, right? Actually, it's going to be 19 frames long. All right, so let's see what we got so far. He's talking really quickly. Whoa, what am I doing here? He's talking really quickly. All right. Now let's make him blink and look the other way. So I'll just add my blinking frame here. Blinking keyframe. And I'll just extend my onion skin here so that I can see what the eyes were like before, and have them look the other way, right? And just change his expression a little bit. All right, and I'll add like a couple of in-betweens here so that it looks a little bit smoother. So we got a guy that's talking and moving his eyes. So I mean, in order for this to make a bit more sense, it would need to be like a longer animation so that I could showcase the effect. But you know, it's just I don't really want to spend a lot of time doing this. I just want to show you the principle of it, right? So let's go to our node view. And as you can see, everything that's hidden is red, so we can just ignore that. Now, again, there's the thing that we need to do here is just hit Control A, which selects all the layers in the pegs, and we're gonna go to this very helpful little button here that auto arranges everything in tree shape. So it's super satisfying to do. So here we go. This is what we're working with here, right? So this is our ear, nose, eyes, mouth, and head, right? And let's just add pegs to everything. Individual pegs, that is. Here we go. So we got our pegs for everything, right? We got our oh, he looks really weird because he doesn't have any eyebrows. So, all right, let's just add eyebrows too, just because it bothers me if he doesn't have eyebrows. So, all right. And let me add the in-betweens too. Bear with me, it bothered me. Cool. So we got this guy, right? And I want to make it feel like it's turning his head a little bit. So if you do this very subtly, it's gonna work. So check this out. Um, let's first of all, again, add the, determine where the pivot is. Whoops. Let's move the pivot there for the head. That's the head pivot. Now the mouth pivot is over here. The eyes are over here. Nose is over here. And our ear is over here, right? So this is what we got so far. Yeah. Actually, we can actually I can actually lengthen this and maybe just, you know what I'm gonna do, guys? I'll just reverse the, no, look, check this out. I will copy all these frames here and paste them again so that we have a longer talk loop, right? And then I will copy all these frames here and paste them in reverse so that it goes back to looking at us. Let's see how that looks like. Oh crap, something went very wrong there. I don't know what. I think I hit paste reverse, right? Or did I not? Let's do it again. Control C, paste reverse. Oh, there we go. Now it's right. All right, and let's just lengthen the nose and the ear. So we got a longer animation here. That's because I want to do the animation and then go back to the initial position. So there's this guy talking and looking back and forth, right? Alrighty, so now what we want to do is change these shapes around a little bit. Some of them, like the head, is only going to change shape, and the rest of the features are, some of them are going to shape both shape and position, and some of them just position. So let's say that we want to make it look like this guy is looking, he's turning his head to the right a little bit, and then he comes back. So what we're going to do there is add a keyframe to the head, like just to the head outline layer. And since he's turning his head that way, we're going to see less of it, right? So let's use this scale tool here and very subtly, very subtly reduce it, like horizontally, right? Make his head a little bit more narrow. And then what we're going to do is take this first keyframe here and copy and paste it at the end. So what we have right now is just him subtly, it's subtly narrowing and then widening again, right? Okay, so far so good. Now, let's do the same thing with the mouth, but with the mouth, we're gonna actually even move it just a little bit to the right so that it feels like it's actually moving, so that it feels that it's on a different 3D plane than the rest of the head. It's gonna make sense in a second. So check this out. I'll just, I just narrowed it a little bit and also moved it to the right. Again, you got to do this pretty subtly so that it feels right. And again, I'm going to copy the first frame and paste it here. So let's see what we got so far. It's already starting to look pretty decent. All right, let's do the same with the eyes. Now, the eyes would make a lot more sense if they were on different layers. If I had my eye on one layer and my other eye on the other layer, I would be able to move them around at different speeds, and that would increase the feeling of 3D even more, you know. But, you know, for the purposes of this demonstration, we didn't really do that, so it's just like a very lo-fi way of showing that. So instead of having to do this, you know, which is a little bit artificial, It's a little bit artificial to just narrow the eyes. If I had drawn them on separate layers, I could have just moved the left one more to the right and the right one more to the left. You know, it's just like that, like a little subtle parallax scrolling effect. All right, and the eyes, I don't want them to move. I don't want them to move around in place since they're on the same layer because it's gonna look weird. And I think the nose and the ear are gonna be the ones that move around most. So since his face is turning and the nose is very, you know, it's very prominent and it's protruding from the face, just add a keyframe here, and we're gonna widen it a little bit more. Even though it should actually change position. We should actually see it from a different, sorry, from a different perspective. But we're not gonna do that because we're lazy. So we're just gonna widen it and move it a lot more to the right. And I have to adjust these eyes here too, because otherwise it's gonna look weird. And also, let's copy and paste the first frame here. And the ear, again, it's gonna travel a little bit, right? The ear needs to widen because we're seeing more of it, but at the same time it travels to the right a little bit. And again, take this keyframe and paste it back. And let's see what we have achieved, ladies and gentlemen. And I have my continuous playback button pressed here, so let's see. So as you can see, it's very neat little 3D-like effect that you can very easily achieve just by rotating and moving different features on a character at different speeds and you know, within different parameters. So you know, it's just small stuff like this that you can just discover just by messing around with the software. So I don't know, I just really love it, and just being able to thank you. So just being able to combine just being able to combine the like the frame by frame animation with the tweening, very powerful, very powerful. I can show you some animations that I've been working on, and I can show you exactly where I use my pegs and stuff. Let me just catch up here with you with the chat. Before ISO, sorry. Yeah, I think we're pretty much uploading everything to YouTube. Almost all the streams that we do, and I'll just copy and I'll paste. This is our YouTube channel right there. Yeah, I mean it's like a nice little trick. I never really tried Spine 2D because I'm mostly focused on frame by frame animation. I only really use I only really ever use the 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 tweening stuff just as a way of cheating around some things that I don't feel like doing in traditional animation. Let me show you what I've been working on here. Let me just delete everything here. Just delete all my examples. Yeah, basically what I was messing around with while Kami was streaming was I was just messing around with a. This is a. I don't like our main character's sidewalk. I just really hate it. I think I was tired when I made it. So here you can see a very rough outline of another possible um, like walk cycle, and I hadn't finished it. I think I'm just gonna very quickly just fill this frame in. Again, you can see that this is super messy. This is like level one of the rough sketch of the rough sketch, something along those lines, you know. Oh, what the hell? And since it's so messy, it's kind of hard for me. It's kind of hard even for me to tell what the hell's going on here. So this is gonna go through another couple of stages before it goes to Kami. I really don't want her to hate me that badly, you know. Just I can't really give it to her like in this in this state because she's gonna murder me. But you know, I'm gonna work on this a lot more. This was just me messing around at the end of the day on a Friday, just because I felt a little burned out, and I felt like doing something else. So it's like wait a minute, I have no head somewhere in one of these frames. Oh yeah, this one's missing a head. Oh, this one's, well, anyways, it's pretty much what I was messing around with. And let me quickly show you guys the structure, uh, of the animation that Kami was cleaning up on during the previous stream. I hope I said, I think I did say that one. Yeah, all right. So here's our old salty dog fisherman dude, and this is pretty much what the frame structure looks for him, right? We got our explanation. First and foremost, the explanation layer here. So this is basically where I'm telling Kami, once he's done with cleanup, how many frames of the animations loop she should export and under what name, right? So for example, these 4 frames or 3 frames are just his idle, and then he's got another idle where he blinks, and then he's got another idle. Actually, I'll just show it to you guys like this because it's a lot simpler. I'll just select like the parts that I want to loop. So this is his idle. Moving on. Just for variety, you know, we're gonna cycle through different titles. This is of course, it's not gonna be playing back continuously. He like blinks and smacks his lips together. We got another idle here where he just blinks. What's this one? This is like a talk loop, right? So whenever the character's talking, he's gonna be doing this, blah 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 blah. All right. What is this? Oh yeah, this is him pointing. This is like a transition animation. And then once we did that transition, we got another loop where he's pointing and talking very angrily, right? Blah 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 blah. Minus this. And of course, for variety's sake, you want to have different kind of loops. You know, you want to have the character do different little things and stuff. This is where he obviously has to drink something. This is where he hiccups. We got another small animation here where he throws the bottle. And here you can see, like, I'll show it to you in a minute. How the way I combine frame by frame with tweening. So check this out. This is frame by frame, right? Again, this is only you can tell that I'm using I'm animating on 1s and 2s in combination. So that's the cool part about the software that we use to pack our sprite sheets. If you hold a frame for if you hold a frame, right, then the software that packs the textures realizes that and doesn't pack it twice and just tells Unity to hold it, right? So that way you can have a lot less transparent PNGs in the game, and you can have this combination of 1s and 2s, right? So in this case, where I felt like it was necessary, I went to animate on 1s, basically at 24 frames per second. In this area here, where you see the little rectangles are smaller, whatever, the keys are smaller, and in this area it's 12. And so here we got frame by frame, and then from here I go to tweening just to give it a little bit of give him a little bit of inertia. You know, when he puts the bottle back, you have a little bit of inertia that would not have made sense for me to animate frame by frame, right? There we go. That's tweening. And here we go back to frame by frame. He throws it, right? And here's tweening again. You can tell that it's tweening because it just looks a little bit like a puppet. But the thing is that it's fast enough. It happens fast enough that you can't. It doesn't really bother you that much, you know. And of course, I would have loved to be able to animate this all on ones, but unfortunately, again, there's just 3 of us working on this game, and it's a super crazy amount of work to do. So I have to cut corners here and then, but I try and cut them so that it doesn't really affect the quality of the animation, right? And here are, you know, several different little animations where he takes out the bottle, puts it down, then he accepts a bottle, puts it down, he offers a bottle, and he's very happy to be offering it. This is a part where he gets super excited. Just a sec. Ugh, shouldn't have moved that thing there. Woo! He's excited. Again, uh, combination of frame by frame and also exaggerating his posture by squashing and stretching him via a via tweening. So you can tell here that the way he increases in size and then decreases, it's done via tweening, right? And then we have different talk loops and stuff, and you know, just plenty of talk loops so that it doesn't just look samey when he talks. It just changes his posture and the position of his head every once in a while. And then we got some other, like another couple of small idle loops where he just mopes around pretty much. I'm happy to help before ISO. ISO. Yeah, you're right, Senseless Squirrel. You're absolutely right. And the thing is that we did need to do the character the walk cycles first because Nico needed to have something to work with, but I plan on refining them a lot. You know, I'm happy with some of them not that happy with. Fortunately, it's not that complicated to change them once they're inside Unity. You know, just have to texture pack them again. And I've been streaming for an hour now. I'm not gonna be streaming for a lot longer. I'm just gonna show you like the node view, just the way it looks, right? So here it is, very nice and clean node view. I don't even think I have to rearrange it. Let's just rearrange it. Yeah. So there you go. So here you have it. So we got our head here. This is the head bag. This controls the head, right? We got our nose, our eyes, our mouth, which I of course always spell that way, and our head. And then we got our arms separate, our legs separate. Again, intentional bad spelling because I just like doing that because I get bored of typing legs and mouth and stuff, but it's all the time. Body and the arm that's in the back. And as I've shown you in the example before, got our head bag, and all of these are connected to the upper body, right? And the upper body and the legs together are controlled by the all-seeing, all-powerful, all bag. So there you have it. That's pretty much what we use Toon Boom for and the way we use it. So it's just technically not that complicated of a software. You know, basically the difficulty comes in just making good animations, I guess. That's the real challenge. And that has pretty much nothing to do with the software that you use. So of course you could be using Flash or whatever else. I'm just saying, having come from a Flash background, I just really appreciate moving on to Toon Boom and everything that it can do a lot better and a lot prettier. So yeah, I don't know. I really recommend it. I really recommend it. And again, I know that they're not super affordable, but if you want to do 2D animation, especially traditional, I would recommend that you get one of these babies. Not necessarily this huge monster. It's not really worth the price of admission, but I would definitely say don't go lower than 13 HD. Yeah, Cintiqs, again, they don't you don't necessarily need them for illustration. You can use like a basic, like a classic Wacom for illustration. But when it comes to traditional animation, having worked on both your standard tablets and your Cintiqs, I just say Cintiqs are really worth the investment. If you're gonna do a lot, if you're gonna do a lot of traditional animation, definitely go for a Cintiq. Don't buy the small one, the 12-inch one. I had that one. It's just like, it's just like too small, way too small. Especially with a software where you have like where your screen is divided into little, uh, you know, little panels like that, and it's just, well, NS man, they're, I mean, they are expensive, but again, I was telling Senseless Squirrel the same thing. You can get one secondhand for less than $1,000, like a 21 UX. I know it's a lot of money. $1,000 is nothing to sneeze at, but if you're serious about it, then you plan on doing it professionally, especially. So if you can make a little bit of that money back, it's definitely worth the investment if you're doing 2D animation. Other than that, I say if you're just doing it as a hobby or if you're just using it for illustration, a basic Wacom is all right. I had my Graphire for almost 7, 8 years. I don't remember. They don't even make that one. That turned into bamboo, and they don't even make bamboos anymore. So yeah, hey Roland. Yeah, I mean, it's just it really depends on the level of animation that you want to be doing. If you really want to go, we would have loved to be able to go even more detailed into animation with this game. Unfortunately, given the size of the team and the fact that people are waiting for the game to be done, we won't be able to do that. But if you want to do complicated and complex 2D stuff, frame by frame, that is, yeah, definitely, especially when basically where it makes the difference is the boiling line kind of stuff, because you have a lot better control when you're drawing directly to the on the surface where your drawing appears. That's basically the eye to hand coordination thing really helps out. Yeah, pencils and paper are cheaper, sure, but at the same time, if you buy your software and you buy your tablet, then that's one investment, but then other than electricity, you pretty much don't have to invest in anything else. Like, especially if you're a painter, like a traditional painter, you're gonna pay for oils and canvas and all that kind of stuff through the nose. So maybe go digital and save up a lot of money. I know it's not the same thing, but I don't know. I'm a very big proponent of digital art and animation and everything. I just really love it. Having come from a very traditional background, uh, when I was in high school, uh, our teachers, not only in high school, I went to art university. Our teachers didn't know shit about digital art or 3D. I made a 3D rendering of some mice that were worshiping me, don't ask. And they were blown away and they were like, how did you draw those things so realistically? They didn't even have like the concept of 3D models or 3D rendering or anything like that. And yeah, it's just super sad. I guess it's just a very weird attitude. I was in Bucharest in our capital, and I was at a digital gallery. Digital. I call it digital gallery. They had like prints, very super nice prints. They were so nice that you couldn't even tell it was digital art. And they had a Cintiq there, right? And uh, and I asked what the deal with the Cintiq was, and they were like, "Oh, it's just there. People can come and just draw on it just for fun." And I asked, well, do people actually do that? And they said, yeah, we have this girl who's at art high school here in Bucharest, but her teachers told her parents that if you draw digitally, then your ability to draw will go away, and stupid fucking bullshit like that. And they didn't let her draw digitally, and she had to, just on the down low, just sneak into the gallery and draw on the Cintiq, which is really fucking insane. Thank you for joining the cult, Brolin. Brolin. That sounds real funny. yeah, so I am very much pro digital everything. Yeah, I do that a lot. I mean, it's super frustrating to draw on paper if you're really used to. I went on holiday and got a sketchbook, and I was just looking for that Control Z all the time. So it was a little bit frustrating. Let me see if I can show you guys some other animations here. I don't know what I've been working on lately. Um, Let me see what this is. I know, but Brolin sounds really nice. Sounds funny. Yeah, so there you go. This guy, I mean, I know it looks very intimidating. If you look at it like this, like it looks kind of intimidating when you look at the structure of this thing. But like I have everything separated on layers because it really helps me out. So I got my left arm layer, pitchfork layer. I got my left hand. I got my body layer. I got my boots. Got my coat. Arm right. Final arm. Oh yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, these are pegs. All right, different pegs. Here, my head, my eyes, my eyebrows on a different layer so that I can move them individually. My mouth, and the description layer. And let me just, what the hell? Let's just play. I'm gonna hide the description because you can't see anything because of it. But yeah, another NPC, idols looking around, talking, lots of different loops for talking because you don't want to just have a boring old samey animation. And I'll show you the node view here. So this is the node view for this particular character. Let me just auto arrange it. This is so satisfying. Just hit enter and ooh, nice little tree there. Very satisfying. And again, you can see the diagram of how I'm controlling this character. This is a sketch, his arm, pitchfork. Oh look, basically I don't even have like I don't even have like a different lower body, upper body structure here because it's just. And I could have done all of this directly in frame by frame, but it would have taken me probably twice the amount of time. And it's not, I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but they're very subtle. They're subtle tweens. Like here, when he blinks, I'm just accentuating the animation by very subtly squashing him and then stretching him back up, you know? Uh, and also, I mean, it's super useful, especially when you do like for example, moving this pitchfork around, right? Otherwise, I would have had to draw that pitchfork frame by frame like that, and I didn't really want to do that, so I just cheated my way. And in this case, yeah, it's also super neat for adding like inertia, like having the character just not just snapping into place, but adding a little bit of bounce, like in this case, because I want him to go from a very light, pose, a very happy pose, to just a very stiff pose. And there we go. Play it. He goes, boom. There's like a little bit of bounce there. Not very, I mean, it's a little bit. Maybe it should be a little bit more subtle. But yeah, I just really love the way node view works and helps you out as an animator. Regathiel, you don't have to buy all that many stacks of paper before you paid for a Wacom bamboo or two. Yeah, actually, they don't even make the bamboo anymore. Because I was recommending that to someone because they wanted the cheap one. They wanted a really cheap one, and I said Wacom bamboo, and apparently they are not making it anymore. It's you can buy the small Intuos, but they're still like under $100 or something like that. So if you're starting out, I think that's a very good, decent investment. Yeah, it's called Intuos. No, 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 Broland. I'm gonna call you Broland from now on because I just like the sound of that. No, we do everything in Toon Boom. We do pretty much all the cleanup in Toon Boom too because just gives you that very nice cell shaded kind of feature kind of look, and also just do animating, filling, like Photoshop is very weird like that because you can't really. It's a lot more complicated to like just to fill in outlines. It's just yeah, no, no. What I would love to do would be to make. I would love to make a game, and we actually started sort of working on that one, but we abandoned it because we focused on this one. But I would love to make a game where where it's traditionally animated, so we make the rough animation in Toon Boom and then export it to Photoshop. But in Photoshop, just render it in a very painterly way so that it really bounces around from one frame to the other and looks like a moving painting. You know, we might I might experiment with something like that within this game if it makes sense somewhere. I don't know. I'll just see. Excuse me just a second. Like my ears are popping like crazy. I'm just gonna try and stop them from popping by doing this ancient Tibetan technique of just doing this. And it worked. Yeah, it worked. Yeah, they're nice, and the new Intuos looks. I mean, the design is really sexy. Salud, salud. Yeah, it's crazy. I was trying to get my ears not to pop. Oh, there they are. They're popping again. Like on my sibilants, I think they're super popping. Maybe it's the headphones too. I don't know. I'll just take my headphones off and try to do that again. So I hate it when that happens. Really hate it when that happens. Yeah, because the Intuos used to be the bigger one, right? That's how I knew it. So those are the joys of Toon Boom, my friends. I wholeheartedly recommend it. And they're not paying me to say this. Actually, we're paying them. Actually, we've paid them already because we got the software before they went subscription based. But what is nice is that you get the updates for free. So when we first installed ours, it was like I think it was Toon Boom 10, right, Kami? And now it's Toon Boom 14. So definitely, if you're interested in doing animation, check it out because it's a really nice piece of software. I really love it. I really love it. I always loved animation. I was always into cartoons and traditional animation and stuff like that. But I dreaded doing it in Flash because those lines were just it just looked really bad. And I'm super happy if they fixed it. If the animate is good, I will definitely give it a try once we're done with the game. So not anytime soon, but I'm definitely interested in it. Yeah. Yeah. So let me see if I can show you some other animations, and then soon I'm gonna call it a stream because it's Friday night and just just tired. Just tired, yeah. Let me see here. Let me see here. Doo, 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 doo. Looking for some. Oh yeah, I think this is a good example. So this is a character. This is an NPC from our game. I call him Striding Salvatore. He's never actually going to be named in the game, but for the purposes of keeping everything very lore friendly, I just name each and every character that I design and animate in the game. And you can see. Let's look at his. Let's let's first look at his front walk. So this is him. Maybe some of you guys have already seen this before because we've shown him on stream before. I think it was when I passed him all over to Kami for Kami to. I hate this. You guys have no idea how much I hate this. That's better. No, it's not better. Fuck. And there he is. And this is an example of a character that's mainly like this is an exception because it's not mostly traditional and a little bit of tweening. This is mainly tweening and a little bit of traditional. So let me show you just how he is constructed. Let's look at the node view here. And something's weird with the node view because I'm not seeing the things that I'm supposed to be seeing. Oh, wait, because it's, I think I have to do this. Yeah, here it is. Here it be. So, arm left, leg right, corp, which is body, Romanian for body. I don't know why I said corp, arm right, neck, and head. So as you can see, we got a peg that controls both the neck and the head. We got an upper body peg, and the upper body peg and the leg pegs are both connected to the input. So the cool part about all this is that I can just hide all the pegs. So check this out. I'm gonna hide. So this is the animation with the pegs, right? Let me just hide the pegs now. Hide your kids, hide your wife. So here we go, just hiding all the pegs, and you can see exactly what this looks like without any kind of tweening whatsoever. And it's just, oh wait, I forgot one of the pegs. I missed the peg. I missed the peg and I liked it. I don't know where it is. I don't know where it is. It's arm right, arm left. Oh, that one. There it is. So here he is without the pegs. So this is basically all the frame by frame animation in here, right? I don't know, man. I have no idea. I mean, I find that it happens. I find that my ears are constantly popping when I'm tired. If I go to bed late, they're just. I'm not cleaning my ears live on cam. I'm trying to unplug them, unpop them. Niku, don't look at me like that. Oh, it's horrible. And it's just my left one for some reason. Yeah. So going back to this. So see, this is basically all the frame by frame animation we have, and it's actually on ones. Again, different layers, because it's easier, it's a lot easier. Different layers for my left leg and my right leg. So this is him without the pegs, and now let's slowly enable them one by one. There's his arm, there's his other arm, there's his neck, there's his head, and now let's enable the head neck peg, and now let's enable the upper body peg. There we go. Again, you can kind of tell that it's tweening, but this is an NPC that you can't even interact with, so he's just there for flavor pretty much. So every once in a while he's gonna be crossing the street and stuff, and you're gonna want to talk to him, but he's just going to ignore you because look at him. Look at his face. He's just the guy. He just looks like the kind of guy that would just totally ignore you, and I think he looks like the kind of guy that you want for him to ignore you. And same thing here, same guy here, but from the back, right? And again, I'm disabling all the pegs. I hope I'm doing it right. And it's the same thing. This is all the frame by frame information for this little guy here. And let's slowly enable everything. All the pegs. We got our arm there. We got our other arm there. We got our neck. We got our head. And we got our upper body. So there you have it. That's how we cheat our way through some of these animations. Not all of them, just the little ones, just like the secondary characters, the NPCs, the not so important ones. Other than that, we really use frame by frame, something like 90% of the time, and just complete it here and there with a little bit of training. Yeah, Mr. Knuckle Dragger. So, my friends, I think that was it for the stream. I hope you find it informative. I hope it was a nice little glimpse into the beautiful world of animation with yours truly. And I I'm very thrilled to be able to put lots and lots of awesome, little animations into the game and make it feel as alive as possible. Basically, that's what we're striving for. So having said that, dudes, I really, really appreciate you hanging out with me and with Kami and with Niku. And if you like this channel, please don't forget to follow. It's really important for us because we're just three people living, well, not living, well, actually, in a way, living here because this is pretty much where we spend the majority of our time. We're just in a small attic in Transylvania plugging away at this point and click adventure game that we want to take the world by storm with. So if you leave a follow, actually, if you follow us and subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out our website, we would really appreciate that because we don't really have that many means of making the world, of telling the world that we exist and our game exists. So every little bit of help is really appreciated. So thank you everyone for hanging out with us. And we will be, I don't think there will be any kind of streaming this weekend, but we're going to be back next week. So next week, Monday, stream with Niku. Tuesday, stream with me and Niku. Wednesday, stream with Niku. Thursday, probably Kami. So we're pretty much streaming every working day of the week. Ohayo gozaimashita. Thank you for hanging out. Peace and Lovecraft, and have a wonderful weekend from here in sunny Transylvania. Bye-bye.